What's up, Giants fans, Hub watchers, YouTube subscribers, Twitter and Instagram followers, along with Rumble subscribers? It's Kush back at it again with another New York Giants video. In this one, I really want to talk about, I know there's injury updates and things to be made of that nature, you know what I'm saying? I know Aaron Robinson, Ellerson Smith, two of our rookies who were injured since essentially, I think, training camp, they're going to be on path to coming back to the team, but I mean, other than that, that's really all news there is on them. Of course, we have our guys that went back down injured again. Not much of an update on them, but what I really want to talk about was this coaching staff and this front office, this current Giants regime, and whether or not they should be back. And I feel like there could be an argument made for both sides. The side that wants them gone and the side that says, let's give them one more year. I really do believe there's an argument to be made for both sides. However, before I go into those, what I will say is whether you like Dave Gettleman or not, whether you like Joe Judge or not, I think that they should be tied. I think that they should be a package deal. So if you fire Judge, you fire Gettleman. If you fire Gettleman, you might as well fire Judge, because you don't want to continue the cycle that we've already began, which is getting rid of a head coach but leaving the GM, or getting rid of the GM but leaving with the head coach. We don't want to fall into that. You always want to, whenever you clean house, actually clean house and get a new guy at the top of the front office to work with a new head coach. All right, that is what I'm going to say before I get into these two arguments, because both of them kind of revolve around that. So for the people that want Joe Judge, this coaching staff, you know, Jason Garrett, Patrick Graham, and Dave Gettleman, who think they should be gone, who think they've had enough time, there is an argument to be made, and that is before injuries occurred on this Giants team, before the Cowboys game, actually, before our roster was decimated during the Cowboys game. For those first 4 weeks of the season, the Giants looked terrible and they were playing bad football. The Giants, both players and coaches, were not doing their jobs. When we talk specifically about Joe Judge, of course, what he promised to see on the field was not what was there. He promised fundamentals of football. We weren't doing anything in our fundamentals. He promised disciplined football. We were getting too many penalties to be considered even anything close to a disciplined team. We were missing tackles. We were missing assignments. We couldn't get a simple run game going. We couldn't even get a couple of, 3 and outs on the defensive side of the ball. It was just bad football of a bad team with a team that had talent. So it showed that coaching had a big part to deal with it. And of course, the players do as well, but this video isn't about those players. This video is about the coaches. You look at Patrick Graham, who looks like he's regressed quite a bit from last year in terms of what his product is on the field. And one thing people seem to forget is that Patrick Graham is also the assistant head coach of this team. So he's in charge of the defense, but he definitely has a hand if you want to blame Joe Judge for overall for things. You also got to throw Graham in there because he is right there by his side as basically the right-hand man. Once again, the assistant head coach of the team, that's Patrick Graham. This defense, which improved in every single spot except one, and that was the one where we lost Dalvin. And of course, I've been saying many times, the loss of one player in Dalvin, although he was a great player, is not enough for the defense to take the step back it did right here. You look on the offensive side of the ball, Jason Garrett has been our best coach this season. However, what I will say is he hasn't been a good coach. And the message is our best coach this year isn't even a good offensive coordinator, in my opinion, because he continuously moves the ball between the 20s, but he can't score in the red zone. The Giants can never score in the red zone for some reason. And for a couple of weeks, it was on and off with the offense. Week 1, it was off. Week 1, they were clicking, it was on. Week 3, it was off again. Week 4 against the Saints, it was on. And then, of course, Week 5, I mean, that's really all we had to judge, because that's when everybody on the offensive side of the ball just sort of went out. And whether it's on Joe Judge or Jason Garrett, for some reason, they were not comfortable putting who was very clearly one of our best players on the offensive side of the ball in there in Kadarius Toney. The guy came in and he showed that he was worth that 20th overall pick. That he showed that he probably should have been involved earlier with the offense, with all the struggles we've been having. So Jason Garrett, the best coach we had this so far in this season, but I don't think that says much considering how the head coach, how the defensive coordinator has performed. And these are guys, once again, they had a full off season this time. They had an improved roster. They went out there You know what I'm saying? They help get players, they help spend money, spend draft picks, and we come out and in the first 4 weeks look like one of the worst teams in football. Now, in terms of an argument to keep them, it would be that it's just their second year. Now, not Dave Gettleman. He's been here for 4 years. However, like I said, they should be packaged together. So Judge's regime has only existed not even for 2 years, basically 1 year and 6 weeks. So not even 1.5 NFL seasons. All right. You came out and had in his rookie year a good season in the first COVID offseason. A good season by our standards. Of course, the previous season we had 4 wins. We went up in 2 wins, and we were a team that was very competitive with a defense that was very competitive. Slightly overrated with hindsight being 2020. You look back, you look at the quarterbacks we faced, you look at the offenses that we faced. Yeah, we were slightly overrated a little bit, but we definitely weren't what we are right now, which is one of the bottom 10 defenses in the league. However, we were a competitive team. We were a team that played good football as well. A team that played disciplined football, and we were 100%. Did not miss any tackles. Didn't really miss that much assignments, and we definitely had our fundamentals down pat. You know what I mean? Then you come over here with the second season, and there's growing pains. There's bound to be growing pains with a coach as young as Joe Judge, with a coaching staff in general that's kind of young across the board. There's only a couple guys in here that has noticeable age. Patrick Graham, this is only his, 3rd or 4th year, I believe, being a defensive coordinator for any team. He's still going through his growing pains. He still has to adjust. Joe Judge, his 2nd year overall. There's a lot of things to be said here. And another part of the argument is that you don't want it to fall into another cycle, which is firing a coach and a regime every 2 years. We did it with Ben McAdoo. We did it with Pat Shurmur. Are we about to do it with Joe Judge before we give it a chance to go out and see what they could do with a 3rd year? It's been a long time since we gave a coach a 3rd year, another chance with this organization, especially when you consider all the money that we spent and how that money is spread out. Even if we were to get a new coaching staff, a new regime for the 2022 season, we're going to be stuck for the most part with the same roster next year, the roster that the previous regime at that point built. And you don't really want that, because then they're stuck doing what the past 2 guys had to do, which is clean it up, which is find a way to get these players out of here and build their own. Build up their own thing, build up their own foundation with their own players, their own draft picks, their own free agents. With the way these contracts are right now, in 2022, we were 100%, stuck is the term I'll use for lack of a better term. We're stuck with the players we have. And have we not seen improvement from Daniel Jones this year? That's under this coaching staff. That's under Jason Garrett. Have we not seen improvement for the offensive line? That's under Rob Sale, who once again, Dave Gettleman and this coaching staff brought in. We have seen very little improvement in what's been a terrible year so far, but there is an argument to be made to keep these guys. And it mostly has to do with how about we actually give them more than 2 years for once, right? And if we're going to be sticking with this roster anyway, let's stick with the coaches for 1 more. Personally, for me, I'm really torn between the 2. Now, in the heated moment, right after the games, for example, when you see my reaction videos, of course, emotions are running high, and I'm angry, I'm disappointed, I'm feeling all types of negative emotions. I want them gone right away. But then I do come back down to earth, and I'm like, I'm not so sure, because part of me wants to believe that with another year, they can get things right. That without injuries, they can get things right. That maybe this is just growing pains. That maybe we are firing and giving up on coaches way too early. That what we saw last year was not a fluke. Because I find it so hard to believe that it was a fluke. Last year was much tougher than this year in terms of preparing for the NFL season. So, if anything, I would say this year is the fluke. But maybe that's the biased Giants fan with the blue lens over my eyes talking. But I'm not sure which part of this argument to pick yet. But I do want to know which one you guys are on. Put your thoughts down below. Let me know what you think. Like, share, subscribe, and I'm out. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share. I'll catch y'all in the next one.